day po. We are the group 4 and I am Shaina Mae Macapillar. So, we were going to present a research entitled A Case Study of Primary School Teachers' Approach Towards Mainstream Inclusive Education in Butuan Central Elementary School. Authors: First year BECED science student from Caraga State University. They were Ablan Franz Juliet O, Bacasma Joanna Rose, Filipinas, Lyka Mae F, Gallardo Belgian O, Generale or Generale, Angelica, and Gastaniel S. Background of the study. Inclusion is a right, not a privilege for a select few. Inclusive education is a learning environment where children with and without disabilities are taught together as equals. This approach is different to more traditional approaches to the education of children with disabilities such as the SPED model used in the Philippines that involves segregating CWDs into separate classes or even separate schools. Inclusive education is recognized by teachers, families, and policymakers to be a more beneficial way of ensuring that children with and without disabilities achieve their full educational potential. As inclusive education was being implemented in the Philippines, there are some renovation of the facilities and even different approaches of the teachers. Inclusive classroom and inclusive teaching approaches benefit children with disabilities, including the position of higher levels of social competence and social skills, opportunities to build on friendship, and some identifying gains circumstances. Many teachers find supporting inclusion requires some changes in their approaches to teaching and learning. These changes come in the form of making judgments about the amount of supported or support needed to facilitate inclusion and extra demand on teachers to problem solve to ensure challenge associated with the inclusion of child with disabilities overcome. Inclusive teacher education throughout the world is leading edge of open educational discussion. Some countries have been successful in promoting inclusive teacher education that extinguish barriers and create conditions with provided access to education for all. However, in poor developing countries such as the Philippines, some of them are vulnerable to the process of creating an inclusive system. It is because of the lack of available funds intended for special education, government support, and trained personnel like teachers. So, for the background of the study, to summarize, it is imperative to determine the teacher's approach towards inclusive education in Butuan Central Elementary School.
Good day everyone, my name is Joneilyn Barandino and today we'll discuss the SOP or the Statement of the Problem of our research entitled A Case Study of Primary School Teachers' Approach Towards Mainstream Inclusive Education in Butuan Central Elementary School. This study aims to know the teachers' approaches to inclusive education at Butuan Central Elementary School, which sought to answer different questions. Number 1, what are the different strategies, techniques teachers made in dealing with inclusive education? Number 2, is it there are some adjustments that teachers need to fit in? Number 3, how they manage the differences among their pupils? Number 4, how they maintain equality and anti-discrimination among their pupils. This is the scope and the limitation of our research. The researcher asked all the teachers who handled inclusive education. This study is limited to the primary school teachers in Butuan Central Elementary School who teach or handle a mainstream inclusive education. The mode of acquiring information is through conducting interview to the teacher. This study includes the teacher way of teaching, attitudes towards the child, and even strategies on how to deliver and manage differences of pupils.
Good day everyone. My name is Anthone Joseph Samonte. I'm discussing of definition of terms. First, inclusive education. Ongoing process aim of offering quality education for all while respecting diversity and the different needs and abilities. characteristic and learning expectation of the student and communities, eliminating all forms of discrimination. Second, mainstream classroom, type of class in which children with special need is into classroom with peers who have no disabilities. Third, approach. This will be the core basis of the researchers to measure and test the teacher approach towards inclusive education. Fourth, primary school teachers. Respondents of the study, the sample population from Butuan Central Elementary School to be used by the researchers to be able to accomplish the said study. Let's move on to chapter 2. Research methodology. Research design. The case study design that was used by the researcher was qualitative research. A case study approach enables one to come up with a simplified understanding how individuals handle a specific bounded situation, utilizing informative and contextual data. Rachell, 2006. Qualitative method is to gather the numerical data. Qualitative method includes interview and giving a survey questionnaire that comprises answer to the given question. It made use of a case study approach.
Research instrument. The instrument that was used by the researchers in this study was through survey questionnaire and interview. There were 4 teachers from primary and intermediate who handled mainstream inclusive education in Butuan Central Elementary School. Data collection procedure or data gathered. The following are the method and step of gathering information in this study. First, the researchers asked permission or approval to the principal of the said school where the survey was conducted. After the researchers received action plan from the principal, the researchers gave the survey questionnaire to the selected teachers together with the letter and action plan. Lastly, the gathered information were being analyzed, studied, and concluded by the researchers.
Good day everyone, my name is Renaee Sude. I am one of the presenter of a case study entitled Primary School Teacher Approach Toward the Mainstream Inclusive Education in Butuan Central Elementary School. The authors are the first year BECED Science student from Caraga State University. So chapter number 4 are the result and discussion. This chapter gives the finding of the result that the researchers have gathered based from the data interpreted and presented. They present a 2 table. 1 is the respondent and 2 is the number of handled differently able child. In first column, the teacher 1 from grade 1A handled a 4 differently abled. In column number 2 is the teacher number 2 from grade 1B handled a 1 differently abled. In column number 3 are the teacher number 3 from grade 2 handled also a 1 differently abled. In teacher number 4 from grade 3 handled 2 differently abled. Respondents are the primary teachers from grade 1 to 3 who are handling a mainstream classroom. For the question 1, what are the different strategies, techniques that you made in dealing inclusive education? So teacher number 1 from grade 1 says that her techniques is dealing inclusive education is talk always to them, especially learners with special needs, to have a good relationship. In teacher number 2 from grade 1 says that her techniques is promoting a cooperative learning where everyone in the room are engaged regardless of its disability as long as they can carry out the task given. In teacher number 3 from grade 2 says that her techniques are getting to know the students or her students. Usage of collaborative planning and teaching, and also, and lastly, is develop a strong behavior management. According to her, um, respect should be widely implemented in mainstream inclusive education. In, in teacher number 4 from grade 3 says that her techniques are: one is use a variety of instructional formats, two is to ensure access of academic circular content, and lastly, three is apply universal designs for learning. Question number 2. Is there are some adjustments that you need to fit in? Teacher number 1 from grade 1 answered none, because for her, she don't have any adjustment as of now because she already experienced teaching and dealing with inclusive education for the fourth time. For teacher number 2 from grade 1, he answered yes in terms of peer teaching. In teacher number 3 from grade 2 answered yes because it was her first time dealing in an inclusive education. For teacher number 4 from grade 3 answered also a yes. Question number 3. How do you manage the difference among your pupils? Teacher number 1 from grade 1 responds that managing inclusive education from the different able one, she gave them other activities that will suit their capabilities. She simplifies, gave them separate activities of the regular from different able, but still she gave them the same points as to the others. Teacher number 2 responds that managing inclusive education to employ differentiative activities from the regular. In teacher number 3, she responds that same as the others. Two teacher above says that managing inclusive education teacher must be provide differentiative activities. And for teacher number 4 from grade 3, he says that managing inclusive education should give an exercise that suits in their capabilities. In question number 4, how do you maintain equality and anti-discrimination among your pupils? The teacher number 1 from grade 1 responds that to maintain equality and anti-discrimination among the pupils is to treat them equally and give them appreciation. And from teacher number 2 from grade 1, she responds that maintaining equality and anti-discrimination among the pupil, it should be no favoritism, provide love and fair, and especially treating them equally. In teacher number 3 from grade 2, she responds that maintaining equality and anti-discrimination among the pupils is differently able one should be engaged in different activities with the regular one, of, co- of course considering their capabilities and weaknesses. In teacher number 4 from grade 3, says that to maintaining an equality and anti-discrimination among pupils, there are two ways. One is to ensure equal access to opportunities to enable pupils to fully participate the learning process, and two, ensuring policies, procedures, and processes.
Good day everyone. My name is Shaina Malicsi and I will discuss the conclusion and recommendation. Conclusion. The purpose of conducting this qualitative study was to explore how primary and intermediate school teachers assess children with disabilities in a mainstream classrooms using their teaching strategies. It was aimed that whatever the findings in this study has in relation to assessment strategies would significantly contribute in bringing advocacy of inclusive education forward in Butuan City. The findings of this current study provide an opportunity to formulate significant conclusions regarding to teachers' approach towards children with disabilities. Recommendation. The researcher recommend the following. Teachers. They should be a role model in implementing a just and fair education, especially those who encountered teaching and those who will soon to handle a mainstream inclusive education, that they may respect everyone's indifferences. Parents. They may nurture and inspire their children with disability to not be outcasted in the society. Future researcher. That they may elaborate more the possible other techniques of teachers in an inclusive education.
Good day, everyone. I am Rachell or Ybañez. Today, we will discuss the research about the assessment of a special education program in the Division of Aurora, Philippines. Authors: Irish Mae R has EDD. Teacher Lual National High School, Casiguran, Aurora. Instructor Mount Carmel College of Casiguran, Aurora, Philippines. Marietta B. Agustin, PhD, Professor, Wesleyan University, Philippines, Cabanatuan City, Philippines. Oscar T. Vallejo, PhD, Professor, Wesleyan University, Philippines, Aurora Campus. Maria Aurora, Aurora Professor, Graduate Studies, Aurora State College of Technology, Baler, Aurora. College Dean, Aurora Polytechnic College, Baler, Aurora, Philippines. Introduction. This study focused on the assessment of the special education programs in the Division of Aurora, Philippines, particularly those offerings of special education classes in the districts of Dipakulaw, Maria, Aurora, and Baler. Background of the study. The Department of Education mandated number 26, 1997, which is the institutionalization of SPED programs in all schools to support the implementation of the Republic Act 7277 Magna Carta for Disabled Persons and to achieve the target set for the Asian and Pacific Decade of Disabled Persons 1993 to 2002, that 75% of the 4 million children with disabilities should be provided equal education opportunities. Hence, special needs education shall be institutionalized in all schools. The institutionalization aims to provide access to basic education among children with special needs, namely the gifted or talented, the mentally retarded, the visually impaired, the hearing impaired, the orthopedically handicapped, the learning disabled, the speech defectives, the children with behavior problems, the autistic children, and those with health problems through the formal system and other alternative delivery services in education. In the Memorandum Number 26, 1997, it was stated that all divisions shall organize at least one SPED center which will cater children with special needs. Programs organized shall adapt and inclusive education concepts or the different types of SPED programs suited to the needs of the learners. In response to this, the researcher decided to assess the implementation of the special education program of the Department of Education in the Division of Aurora, which is considered as a remote area with limited access and increasing population of the children with special needs. According to Department of Social Welfare and Development in DECADI, there are increasing number of children who have been observed of having disabilities without diagnosis from the medical practitioner with lack of program to cater to the students' needs. This situation motivates the researcher to assess the implementation of the SPED program in the division of Aurora so that implementation of SPED programs also be conceptualized in the northern part of Aurora. Statement of the problem. This study was designed to assess assessment of special education program in the division of Aurora, Philippines. Specifically, this research answered the following questions. Number 1. What is the socio-demographic profile of the teachers in SPED programs in the division of Aurora in terms of age, sex, position, number of years in service, highest educational attainment, field of specialization, and relevant trainings attended. Number 2. How many implementation of SPED problems be assessed in terms of curriculum, instructional materials, facilities, financial resources, community involvement, people or students, recruitment, student enrollment, and categories of children with special needs. Number 3. What were the problems encountered by the teachers in the implementation of SPED programs? Number 4. What solutions do the teachers offer to address the problems in the implementation of SPED programs? Number 5. How did the teachers assess the needs of the students with special needs? Number 6. What is the relationship between the profile of respondents and the status of implementation of the SPED programs? Number 7. Is there a significant difference in the school's implementation of the SPED programs with classified as elementary and secondary schools?
Good day everyone. My name is Nita Cabo. Now I will discuss about research instrument. And also research instruments allow for the gathering qualitative data to answer the research question for this study. The instrument used was a customized survey questionnaires answered by all the participants. Respondents of the study included the 7 schools offering SPED program during the school years 2017-2018. The schools are located in the central Aurora, such as the district of Baler, Maria Aurora, in the Faculao Aurora, Philippines. It is utilize the questionnaire as the main data, gathering tool with the aid of interview and observation.
Good day everyone, my name is Angel Songsong and I will be discussing about the following tables of our study which shows our results and discussions. In this table, it shows the socio-demographic profile of the teachers in SPED programs in the division of Aurora in terms of age, sex, position, number of years in service, highest educational attainment, field of specialization, and relevant trainings attended. These tables show the amount of implementations of SPED problems has been assessed in terms of. In this slide is the curriculum. This one is for instructional materials. Another for facilities. Next, we have financial resources. The following being community involvement, pupils or students recruitment, student enrollment, and lastly, categories of children with special needs. This table shows the problems encountered by the teachers in the implementation of SPED program. This table shows the solutions the teachers offer to address the problems in the implementation of the SPED program. This table shows how did the teachers assess the needs of the students with special needs. This table shows the relationship between the profile of respondents and the status of implementation of the SPED programs.
Assessment of Special Education Program in the Division of Aurora, Philippines. Summary of Findings. Conclusion. Based on the findings of the study, the following conclusions were drawn. Number 1, the SPED teachers and the school heads were young, mostly female with SPED teacher item. Young service master's degree holders, most of them did not specialize special education program in their undergraduate studies and with limited trainings attended. Number 2, in the status of implementation, the condition of financial resources and pupils student recruitment are existing and functioning according to standard. And number 3, most common problems encountered by the school heads and teachers were in ideal mental state of parents and the sufficient instructional materials. Number 4, conducting orientation to the parents and tipping the LGU for financial assistance to support the program were the strategies in addressing the problems encountered in the SPED programs. And number 5, checklists and standardized assessment tools were the common teachers' assessment techniques to categorize the students according to their needs. And number 6, age and number of years in service were significantly related with financial resources, while position is significantly related to pupil students' special needs. And number 7, elementary school differ in terms of the implementation of curriculum, facilities, and financial resources from secondary school.
And now everyone, let us proceed to our recommendation of the study. Based on the finding and the conclusion of the study, the following recommendations are proposed. Then the first one is the school head, which is it is recommended that school heads should report SPED teachers, especially those who are a major in special education. Encourage them also to enroll the master's degree program where they specialize in special education. And the second one is the psychometric or the physicians. Procurement of the standardized assessment tools to categorize the student is highly recommended. Psychometrician and the physicians may be consulted in the diagnosing the students and identifying their needs. And the third one is the local seminar SPED. Local seminar SPED is the highly recommended and the division levers so that teacher will not spend their own financial resources. In-service training in the district is a possible alternative. Encourage teachers to the community involvement by encouraging and recruiting children with special concerns to enroll in SPED programs. Also, the fourth is the Department of Social Welfare Development. Community and home scanning is a vital way of searching to children with special concerns. The Office of the Person Disability or the PWD under the Department of Social Welfare Development as the best agency to be consulted and looking for the special children. And let us proceed the fifth, which is the school stakeholders. Taping the school stakeholders, it is the best strategy in evaluating the needs of speech children. Consultation with the psychometrician or psychologist is the recommended. Let us proceed the sixth, which is the parents. Problem regarding in the denial mental state of the parents of the children with special concern must be addressed, inviting the parents and discuss with them the importance of education to their special children and how to harness their hidden talents and disabilities. The seventh is different strategies. Different ways of solving problems call for different strategies. The use of various strategies is dealing and addressing problems as recommended. Praying is the best strategy for those who seek help for their children. Of course, the lastly, which is the follow-up studies. The follow-up studies are encouraged for those researchers with the heart of this field of specialization. Such topics are recommended. Research study the graduates of a special education program and the speech teachers' morale and the indicators in the best practices successful speed schools.
References, and this is our references of our research.